The nominees for Best International Feature Film, I've seen them all. So let's rank them from not as good to this one should win. Someone needs to check on France because this is the second year in a row they've made a dumb decision. Last year, they submitted some other movie for Best International Film instead of Anatomy of a Fall. Like, what were you thinking? So yeah, Emilia Perez, this is the frontrunner in this category, which is crazy to me because it's the weakest of the five. The only saving grace in this movie is Zoe Saldana. I think as a movie, and definitely as a musical, this film just doesn't work. There are a lot of holes. The narrative is just wonky. And the whole thing just feels like gaslighting. It feels manipulative. Not in a way where it serves the narrative, but just like we're being presented with false truths. I didn't like that. From Brazil, this is I'm Still Here. My only real issue with this movie is that it was just a little slow in the beginning. It took a minute for it to really get somewhere. Other than that, once it got going, it was great. It's emotionally heavy. Fernanda Torres, that Best Actress nod makes sense. From Germany, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, I would put this at number 3. Again, I thought this movie was brilliant. It's just not as good as that first two. From Denmark, The Girl with the Needle, I watched this a couple of days ago. This kind of reminded me of Psycho in that Psycho starts one way and then shifts. This had a very interesting shift in the middle. It's gorgeous. Gosh, that black and white photography, beautiful lighting. It's depressing as all get out, though. I mean, this movie's sad. So it's about this young woman who works in a factory, and she ends up falling in love with her boss. And you're like, oh, we're going to get married. But then, she meets his mom, and his mom is like, absolutely not. She gets fired. She's pregnant. And she decides to give her baby up for adoption, meets this woman named Dagmar, who's like, oh, I run like an underground adoption thing. I can help you find a foster family for your baby. Give me your child. Oh, by the way, you have to pay a fee to give me your kid. So yeah, she does that, but she's got nowhere to go because her husband was at war. Now he's back and his face is all tore up. And so now she's living with Dagmar, and they have this really interesting codependent relationship. And she's like, yeah, I can totally live with you and help you with your business because I still have milk. I can be a wet nurse. So she becomes a wet nurse for all these babies. And it turns out things are not quite what they seem. It's interesting. But yeah, gorgeous. The movie's gorgeous. Now, if it were up to me, this movie would be winning Best International Feature. I don't see why not. This is an entry from Latvia, Flow. It's an animated film about a cat. Basically, there's a big flood, and this cat's trying to survive, and it ends up making friends with a capybara, a bird, I think it's a lemur, and something else, a dog. Simple, straight to the point. I think it's just gorgeous.